T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Coolest reptile podcast in the world. Welcome to Trap Talk Reptile Podcast, episode 430, the last Trap Talk Reptile Podcast of 2023. It's going down tonight, man. What is good? I'm your boy MJ. Hope everyone had a great year, man. Seriously, the last podcast of the year feels something different. I'm not gonna lie, but just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all the viewers, all the subscribers, all the love and support I've gotten from not only this year, but just all the years previous. Just means a lot to have this much support. But man, we're going strong into 2024. So hope you guys are ready. And if you are into keeping reptiles, breeding, or just simply admiring, and this is your first time hanging out with us, do yourself a favor, smash that subscribe button. Okay. First and foremost, hit that like button if you're a Morph Market member and you're down with Morph Market. Hit that like button if you're excited to have this last Trap Talk of the year, ready to rock and roll. But more importantly, man, if you're just ready for a banger of a show, man, hit that like button and then hit that subscribe button. I do 3 podcasts a week on this channel: Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. I do not miss. All right. So by hitting that subscribe button, that notification bell, you'll be alert and notified about every single podcast I drop here. Also, you can listen to Trap Talk Reptile Podcast on all the major audio platforms such as Buzzsprout, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. So don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. And again, thank you so much for all the love and support, man. If you're looking for exclusive content, if you like to get more out of what you see out of every episode, more behind the scenes like VIP access, or just network yourself with some really diehard reptile keepers, then don't look any further than clicking on the very first link in the description below. Click on it, join the Trap Talk Patreon family. As soon as you join the Trap Talk Patreon family, you get a link to the Discord, which will tap you in with over 185 trappers. Then you also get connected to the Instagram group chat that is just nonstop cracking. So listen, Patreon members, I love you guys. We're going in strong next year and big things popping. Exclusive content coming to the Patreon family. So just be ready, man. And again, thank you to all my Patreon members. You guys are my heart. Love you guys. Thank you for all the love and support. And I also appreciate you if you support US ARC. First and foremost, I do want to say any live chat, any super chats tossed in tonight, all right, I'm donating to US ARC. All right. Let's see if any big dogs in tonight's podcast can match that. All right. We'll see what's up. Right. I think they can. But US ARC, you guys need to know all about US ARC. They are here for us. All right. We need them more than they need us. But I'm telling you right now, shout out to Phil Goss, shout out to the entire US ARC family and team. And again, if you support US ARC, thank you so much. If you're not sure what the hell US ARC is and you've been in the reptile game for a little bit, listen, go down to the very second link. All right, click on it, usarc.org, read all about it and become a US ARC member, because those numbers do matter, especially at important times. All right. And again, shout out to any US ARC member, US ARC Florida. All right. Thank you so much for supporting US ARC. All right. Tonight's episode is brought to you by the Reptile Super Show, the #1 show in the country. Get yourself to a Reptile Super Show if you've never been, but we have over 400 vendors vending at the Pomona Reptile Super Show next weekend. All right. So shout out to Rami. All right, January 5th through the 7th, it's going down. A lot of people flying in. It's going to be a great time. Your boy MJ in the flesh will be there. I'll have my booth. I'll have people rocking with me. It's going to be an amazing time. I have shows happening right there in the middle of the Reptile Super Show, so you're not going to want to miss it. And come by the booth if you're going to be there. More importantly, drop a comment. Let me know if you're already going to be planning on going to the Reptile Super Show. If you're vending, I want to know right now, man. It's about that roll call time for Reptile Super Show. Rami, thank you for everything that you do. Thank you to the entire Reptile Super Show family. Cannot wait to rock it with you guys next weekend, and it's going to go down, man. I also want to say that tonight's episode is brought to you by Mark Bailey from Mark Bailey Reptiles. All right, head over to Morph Market, follow my man Mark Bailey Reptiles, and see the production that he has available. This guy's the GOAT, man. He's been doing it, been leading the game for a while, and It's cool to call him one of my good friends. Shout out to Mark Beta, the OG, triple OG in the game. And yes, he's coming to Pomona, just so you know. It's going to go down. Hey, I'm not kidding tonight, though, because we have a couple of special co-hosts. I mean, one is no stranger to Trap Talk, and he's back. All right, back in what is that name?
Crocodiles are big in the news right now, buddy. Jump on the train.
What is that? Nihilistic. I can't. Can you tell me what your name is? I'm sorry.
Nihilistic.
Nihilistic.
Yeah. The hobby is going to fail. We're all doomed, buddy. We're doomed.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I wish your internet was better. It's been better before, but maybe it'll get better. We'll see. But anyways, I can still see your hat. I still see your face. I see your beard. How you been, Dave? It's been a while, buddy. How's everything going?
I've been good. You having an issue with audio?
No, your audio is perfect. It's little, you know, I would say like 480p or something like that on the. Oh, it's coming in better. Here we go, and I can see you. All
okay.
Right.
It rained today. It rained.
Hey, I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for finishing off this year with me. I think tonight's a really important episode, and I couldn't find anyone else better to help me with tonight's episode because you were with me having Darien on the previous time, and here we are at the end of the year, and we have someone joining us who you're no stranger of, that's for sure, Mr. Bob Vu, or Vu Sensei in the building. How you doing, Bob?
Josh is with us.
Oh, wow. There's Josh. Man, your vacation buddy.
The Goon Master.
That's your boy right now, huh? You guys been homies for like what? How long you guys been besties for now?
I've been together for a few years now. I've been vending shows together for about 3 years.
Yeah, and it's been going good, huh? As far as overall this year, vending went pretty well for you?
Yeah, we did good. We did all the NARBCs together, Daytona, a few Reptilian Nations, and Josh vends the he's going to be at the Pomona show. I don't do those shows, a little far. But you know, just going to be rooting for him from afar.
Well, damn, man. Listen, I know you're a busy guy, Bob. Going on, you know, well, I mean, kind of business/vacations here shortly, and after just coming off a vacation with Josh and a group of friends, that looked like a fun time.
Yeah, we just came back from the Dominican. It was just me, Josh, some of our buddies with Chris Pilgrim. Everyone knows Chris. And Will Washington from Flawless and his new wife. So we got to enjoy their honeymoon with them.
Epic.
Yeah.
Dude, all right. So listen, Dave he has history when it comes to Darien being part of the show. You, Bob, I felt like recently you and Darien kind of became like, you know, I don't want to say pals, but I guess pals. I mean, he was over at your place. It seems like you and him are kind of on the same page, and as far as whatever Morph Market's doing, but I feel like you have a lot to relate to as far as what we're going to talk about when it comes to Morph Market, because overall Morph Market and you you've been successful with Morph Market, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been with Morph Market since 2016-17 when they first came out. And I was good friends with John. I always supported John. Anytime John called and needed opinion, I was good for it. And when Darien took it over, I thought Darien was going to be a good person to take it over. You know, everyone had their doubts, but I feel like he's done a really good job with everything so far. Everyone has their opinion as far as his online persona. However, you can't deny what he's done for the site overall, with all the add-ons they've done, all the changes they've made. Again, I constantly have to tell him, we talk pretty often, I constantly have to tell him, no matter what he does, somebody's going to be mad about it. So, because somebody's always going to not do well and need someone to blame. And he's the easiest person to blame, honestly, for this year.
Yeah.
If your business is not doing well, reptiles wise, Darien's the answer. Just blame him. You know, it couldn't have been that you didn't post anything or didn't vend shows or anything like that. And I enjoy talking to him and seeing where the site's going to go. Again, I have a biased interest in the site. Obviously, I've been with them a long time, and a lot of our sales goes through there. Right. So I want his best interest and the website's best interest at heart. You know, so
sweet, yep. And I know that, so that's why I think it's a good dynamic. And I think it's gonna be a great show. At the end of the day, one thing about Darien, he's not scared to prove himself being himself. Does that make sense? Like, he don't give a fuck, you know, like, he has the brand and he does what he needs to do by the brand, but he's also Darien. And the fact that he knows that kind of irritates or gets under people's skin makes him be Darien even more. And so what are you going to do about it? Either way, I think it's time. Are you guys ready to have Darien come on the show and we get to business, or what?
Oh.
Nihilistic, how you feel? You there, buddy? How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Did you see the thumbs up? How bad is this connection?
Now it's getting better, actually.
Oh my God. Guys, again, in the live chats, any super chats, I'm donating to US Arc. So why don't we get those up? Let's get those cracking right now. But it is game time. Do what you got to do to stay hydrated. Do what you got to do to get your mind right. Episode 430, last episode of the year. Darien and Morph Market coming at you. Let's go. Good. You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes,
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
And he's here, the leader of PETA. Oh, I love it. I didn't even know you changed your name to that. Darien. Double D in the building. What's up, Darien? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Good.
Happy to have you here,
How's
man.
Mr. Nile over there?
Just representing, buddy, representing.
Yep.
Wow, man. I mean, listen, so many things I'm excited to talk to you about, Darien, but, you know, we're at the end of the year here, very close to the new year. How are you feeling? How's your energy? You gassed, buddy? You ready for more? Tell us how you're currently feeling right now.
Oh, I'm feeling good. I'm over here in Florida visiting family and just hanging out till the end of the year and then be back to work. So
Now, you know, you having so much responsibility on your shoulders, aka Morph Market, are you really kind of able to vacation while you're, you know, in charge of Morph Market? Like, do you feel like things are really under control where you could just take off and enjoy time with family and even keep your mind off of Morph Market? Or is that never the case?
I mean, I worked a little bit on the 25th even, so I would say that no, I got a good, you know, year or two until I can actually take a solid few days or week off. But
yeah. Well, what a year it's been. Like I said, I picked these two specifically for my own reasons. Nihilistic, obviously, Mr. Nihilistic. He was here on a podcast with us earlier this year. And then you have Bob Vu, someone that obviously you guys have become quite a bit of good friends over the year. But, you know, that makes sense. Bob, like I said, Bob has quite a bit of success on Morph Market. And he's not the only one, man. But I want to hear it from you right off the bat, Darien. You know, here we are after this crazy year you've had quite a bit of like, you know, people wanting to bring you down and then people wanting to bring you up and then people even wanting to bring you up while people bring you down. Like, you've always had support. And I feel like you've literally lived up to a lot of expectations, if not better. I mean, if we're keeping what Darien does on Facebook under Darien and if we keep concentrating on Morph Market, I fucking love where Morph Market's at. Really impressed. But how do you feel overall where things are at with Morph Market? Quite a bit of stuff to roll out still. How's everything feeling so far?
Yeah, it's going really well. We have a few things right now that we're getting really close to launching. We've got our new like make an offer feature. It's going to be really cool. That's coming out hopefully in about a week. And then auctions right after that. So auctions are going to be huge. That's a big one that I've been excited for several months now. And then we just launched the buy now feature. So being able to accept credit card payments. That one just came out a couple weeks ago, and we really don't have a whole lot of people on there yet using that. I was hoping there'd be a lot more. I think we're at like maybe 5 to 7% of sellers. So only a couple hundred sellers out of over 5,000, but I think it's going to go really well. So far, it's been real promising. A lot of the people who have activated payments are already having success with it, and they're already getting a lot of sales. So it's we kind of went a different route with it, though. We decided to pretty much make it so that when people, it's kind of controversial, like having like a buy now button where it's just like, oh yeah, anybody can go on there and just buy something. So we pretty much set it up in a way that's like a kind of a hybrid. So essentially you go in and you can click buy now, but then all it does is authorize a payment on your card. So you still have 24 hours where the seller has, ample time to have a conversation and really, get a feel for the buyer and make sure everything's good, maybe verify some info from them, things like that. And then after within 24 hours, the seller can approve the sale. And now it's like, basically like a way for, money to, be in hand and then, kind of secure, the animal and basically like show, interest that way and kind of have something ready to go, but, at least that the intention's there. So
I'm curious, Bob, how you feel about these new features when you're doing just fine without any of these features. And so now with the auction about to come, which I don't know even how you feel about auctions. I know auctions was a thing back in the day or whatnot on Facebook. So all these new things that are going to kind of, I guess, even some sort of a playing field. How does that make you feel, Bob, when you're already kind of successful on Morph Market?
I think no matter what, as long as everyone in the industry is successful, the more sales that are trickling down to everybody else, the guys that are only hatching 2-3 clutches a year, the more sales they make, the more money they'll have to invest back into their hobby, into the industry. It's going to help all of us. There's not really so much of a sense of, man, these guys are going to really steal my sales, because my sales are still going to happen. I just feel like we've set us up where we're going to make sales anyways. A lot of times it's the guys that are not as visible, the guys that don't have elite pro accounts that can't post or don't have the access to posting hundreds of ads at a time. They only have 10 ads. Well, they're going to be able to post an animal on auction, have more visibility, have a chance to sell an animal every month, have access to instant sales. Someone just go on there and click it and boom, get the sale done. A lot of people are sometimes hesitant when they're buying through a third party platform like this, right? You're going on Morph Market, you're buying from a seller that's going through another platform. So now you're having to message the seller and that person's telling you, hey, Cash App me or Venmo me. People can get sketched out and then not want to buy. But with it having an access to on Morph Market, being a large site, they can just put in their credit card info, go straight to the buying process. I think it's going to help a lot of guys out, especially guys with not a lot of positive reviews yet. A lot of times people will go through and screen the reviews. I want to buy from someone with 50 or 100 reviews. I can positive reviews. I can Cash App them and not be worried about losing my money. But with it being just punch in my credit card, if something happens, I can just dispute this with my credit card company. It's really gonna help these guys boost their sales. And when everyone's making money, you're gonna see the industry really thrive. Everyone's gonna make money. I think it'll just do good for all of us.
Dave, what you got to say about that?
I talked to Darien about this earlier, and honestly, I agree with everything Bob's saying. And also, I talked to Darien just simply about how he's modernizing the website and the idea of what a business is to sell reptiles. We don't always like change. I'm stubborn. I'm going to take a minute before I start using all this stuff. But, some of us do treat this like a business. Some of us treat it like a hobby. But either way, we have a professional site to go and sell our animals. And I think features like this is just what the future is for the hobby.
Yeah, the biggest thing that we all know people hate is change. And you quite put a change into things when it comes to Morph Market, Darien, aggressively, I would say. Because we always talk about how John was behind the scenes, and John did John. John was a likable guy. And I'm not saying you're not likable. I mean, I like, I'm just saying, but John purposely was like, you have no choice but to like John because he was behind the scene. Like you only saw him at shows every now and again, and that was it. But you were here to openly express like how you're like you don't give a fuck, you're a funny guy, but also like if you're in your feelings about things, I don't care, like move on with your life. And you kind of made it known that if you're one of those people who are just miserable, not really an asset to the industry, I go ahead and leave Morph Market. Is that still your mentality right now? Do you still feel that way?
I would say yeah, to an extent. I think that I mean, it's all, there's always going to be, people, even this year, we had 400 new sellers, 500 new sellers join Morph Market in the last like 6 months. And
what's a typical year, Darren? Before you came, do you know how many new members Morph Market was getting a year, like the average by chance?
It was about the same. Pretty close. Like last year was pretty close to the same as this year. I think that the biggest thing is that, when hundreds of people are joining a year to sell, it kind of opens things up where, you've got so many people involved that, you're going to have people that, really shouldn't be on there that, aren't using things correctly. So yeah. I think that to an extent, you have to kind of, keep things healthy on there, because if we've got people that want to buy and, they're not having a great experience, then that hurts everybody. It doesn't just hurt the person who's doing it, so it hurts Morph Market and it hurts, all the sellers involved. So as they were saying earlier, you have to have, a healthy, professional market, and you have to have that professionalism behind, your branding and marketing and, the way you talk to customers, the way you do all that. So I was just reading a couple of these comments here. Let's see. Morph Market is now responsible for the money end of it. So the cool thing about the way we set this up for payments is we don't actually handle any of the money. So all you do is you hook it up to your Square account. None of the money goes through us in any way. It essentially goes directly from the buy now button directly into your account when you choose to accept the payment. So there's no, doesn't really exchange hands other than the buyer and seller. You guys cool with me reading a couple of these off real quick?
Yeah, that's what you need to do, buddy. Go ahead. I'm kind of selfish. I only do the super chats, but go ahead. If you want to go and,
I just wanted to answer a couple of them just because I'm sure other people are curious about it. Will there be a penalty for people that click buy now and then back out? Will they be able to back out in the interim? So when someone goes in and buys, they're agreeing to make that purchase, and then it's on the seller to say yes or no, accept or deny the payment. So
right after they click buy now, they've already authorized the payment. So,
the full payment. So the exact full payment of the snake is authorized, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So the exact full payment, if it's $650, that $650 is now going to show on their credit card as an authorization. And as soon as basically the seller has 24 hours to respond and either accept or deny. If they deny it, then the authorization just goes away. If they accept it, then that payment actually processes on the credit card.
Yeah, let me ask this. There's four of us on here, and Dave and MJ, you're both Morph Market sellers.
Yes, sir.
Have either one of you set up your Morph Pay?
I have not. No.
Right. So that's what I thought. Right. So right now, even if we're looking at just three sellers right here, only one of us have authorized Morph Pay. There's still a lot of hesitance for people to authorize it, and I think a lot of people are still confused about some of the stuff we're seeing them ask in the comments and stuff like that. But even with Dave being as big of a seller as he is, still hasn't authorized Morph Pay. So right now is a good time to just answer some of the questions, right? Like, Dave, what is holding you back from authorizing Morph Pay?
Honestly, it wasn't necessarily a hesitation other than time, and I'm sure it'll only take 2 seconds. To be honest with you, a big thing about this podcast today is learning more about some of the features that we're bringing in, some of the stuff we have, even just for me personally. There's really no reason other than laziness, and that's the God honest truth why I haven't made that change my account. But after this, I plan on making a few different changes, and I got a couple things I plan on doing for the new year.
I have a question. How easy is it to set up?
It took me 45 seconds, maybe a minute, to do my full inventory.
Is it in the profile settings, or where would
you go to your settings and just go ahead.
Go ahead and break that.
So we're actually, you could do it in the settings, but we're also about to add a little button right in the orders page. So if you click on like orders, you can go and just click connect Square, connect it to your Square account, go back to your animals, select all, and then you can apply enable payments to all your animals. So literally, it's like less than a minute and it's done, and it's all hooked up with Square. So I mean, it's really simple.
It is simple because I'm now set up. So now there's 2 out of us right now that are all set up. So
right. So I think the hesitancy we had people ask was like, okay, what about shipping costs and all of that?
Right.
Because I see that in the comments too. We had that commented on your post the other day, Darien. It's you have to have either a set shipping price or free shipping. It's one or the other. You can't have like shipping between 50 and 70 or something like that, or where it varies, because you have to have a set price or free shipping.
Nice. All right. Well, let me ask you this, Darien. One thing about having Bob be on this episode, right away, people were like, "Well, why are you gonna have Bob on? Like, isn't that like kind of showing favoritism?" And but I'm just using that as an example. There were many things that you've done that people feel like you're catering towards more, like you almost hook other things up versus, it's not really fair, right? What I'm saying, and there's multiple like examples of this. One of them, like you said, like, okay, like what's going on with Bob and Darien? Why are they so close? Or what is it about Darien pushing lizards so much more than snakes because lizards, sell dubia roaches, that type of shit,
I'm not commenting on that. I think he's talking to you, Darien. I'm going to get into the conspiracy theories later, man. That's second half for me.
Yeah, I think there's a few conspiracies, but we can hold off on that. I know David really wanted to talk about that, so
just a little. And honestly, I don't want to be an asshole when I say this, but I don't think anybody would have come out of the woodwork and said because you're friends with John, there's favoritism. I don't think there's any issue with Bob having his friends and Darien having his.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
friends with Bob.
Anyway. Bob is a prominent guy in the community. He's well spoken. Of course, he wants to be here for the conversation.
Whoa. To be fair, I was good friends with John too.
Well, he messaged me back sometime, so I think me and John were friends, but I'm not sure who's my friend, to be honest.
I'm not really
Josh likes me. You're right. Josh does like me.
After the Balut scenario, so
wait, what, Darien? You and Bob aren't friends no more? That quick?
I didn't really pass the test. That's pretty much what happened.
Damn, you're not that cool, I guess. It is what it is. No, but I'm serious. I mean, how are you delegating things overall, just as far as being fair? You had a lot of people angry at you for no reason because they can't sell stuff, right? But that's just because you put yourself in that position, right? But do you feel like you're overall a fair person? Do you feel like you've been fair overall this whole time?
I mean, yeah, we've had so the entire year of 2023, we had around 700, I believe, 650 to 750 new sellers on the platform, less than 100 left. So we lost less than 100 sellers overall. And I've only actually suspended around 38 under 40 out of 5,700. So
does suspend mean possibly could come back, or is that more likely banned? Like, what do you mean by suspend?
Yeah, about half of those were banned, but yeah, suspend is like, okay, you know, they're suspended for a couple months or something.
Well, that's a good example.
You know, that stuff happened before too. Like, you know, that's the crazy thing. It's like, you know, if I do anything, I can do the same stuff that John did, and people are going to lose their goddamn minds over it. You know, it's like, oh, here we go. Let's add payments, you know, and that's something that people requested for like 3 fucking years. You know, and then all of a sudden I'm like, all right, I'm going to build out payments because everybody wants it. It's more, you know, it's a lot more expensive. You know, it was probably $60,000-$70,000 to like build it all out and do it correctly between all the time, you know, needed to make it happen. And it took months. You know, it took a lot longer than I thought it was. You know, I thought it was going to be done in a month, and it took like 4 extra additional months. So, you know, I go and build that out, and now 5-6% of people have activated it in 2 weeks, and people are constantly like, oh, now you guys are taking payments and, you know, doing this and that. It's like, I mean, John was going to charge, you know, a rate on the whole thing. And, you know, I don't even know what that was going to be. But I go in and I'm like, oh, we'll charge a 0.5%. People lost their mind. So, you know, we decided not to charge any fee. It's free. You know, there's no kind of fee to process payments, nothing.
What do you have to say, Dave? Go ahead. I see it.
Well, honestly, just for me, again, coming back to it, you know, I think there's a lot of things about these changes to the site that's going to benefit us. You know, I know the auction thing is kind of shitty. You know, I mentioned in Darien, I'd be really curious on what the traffic was after the first 6 months to a year. If we felt like it was pulling traffic away from maybe sales ads, would of course be a concern for some people. But, you know, I kind of mentioned too, and I hate talking about this like it's a product, but, you know, we have these rack systems full of animals for sale. It's no different than shelves at a store. If we have too much product, you cut deals, you go discounts, you go auctions. There's auctions you can do. And, you know, I think the big thing is the separation between what we think is an investable project and what we don't think is investable. Some of these animals are going to the pet trade, and whatever the price is going to the pet trade that we never see it as competition, I don't see a problem with that. So, you know, like I said, I picked up 4 things that are changes on the site that are coming up, auctions being one of them. And honestly, I kind of want to just kind of go into depth on every one of them, talk about the details, maybe a little bit of pushback if we think there deserves to be some. But, you know, we're all running a business. Oh, this big floppy fucking hat. We're all running a business, and we all want to do well. And here's the reality. When things get hard, you got to try harder. And when things get hard, we lose people. Some of the people we lose means the money won't be as spread out, and a lot of us are going to make more money because of it. It's your job as a company to be on the other side, because I hate to say it, we're not all going to come on the other side of this. We've had these slowdowns in the hobby. Sometimes timing sucks. You know, he bought the website when he bought it. It is what it is. But, you know, new things brought to the website to modernize it, to make this industry a little more professional, and maybe from the outside in, people would take it more serious. I love everything about it. Sitting and watching animals accumulate dust on my website for months, I got to make changes. And I don't want to always drop the price to affect the market. But if I got animals I know just aren't going to sell right away, I don't see the problem in going auctions. You know, the reptile ring was amazing for some people, but it was also selective. You know, only a few people were allowed to go on there, but now everybody's allowed to use it. You know, he's going to go into detail about it, how many ads we're going to put up, so on and so forth. You know, it's not going to be somewhere people are going to abuse it. You're not going to see guys put in like hundreds of ads on. It's going to be, okay, this animal's not selling. It's time for it to go away. So like I said, I like all the changes coming up. I think it gives us all opportunities to make money. And honestly, when it's hard to make money, we need better ways. You know, we need things like this, and I got no problem with it. So, you know, I want to talk about the auctions a little bit because we talked about them before. What are some of the restrictions you said you wanted to keep on it to try to make it fair for everybody so nobody was abusing that feature?
Yeah. Good question, Dave. Heat.
So we've got a few things with the auctions. I know that's a pretty controversial, you know, subject. So we are going to limit it quite a bit. I think that it's I don't know. Honestly, I think that it's a little bit, it's kind of funny when people are talking negatively about, about the auctions. It's like, I mean, if you're selling, you're selling reptiles to people online, like,
Yeah.
whether it's an auction or whether you're just selling something to somebody and they're paying with a credit card and you're shipping it to them, it's really not much different, in my opinion. But basically with auctions, so what we're doing is the first month, it's going to be limited to one auction per seller. So one auction per seller per month. As we kind of see how things go, how many animals get listed, how they do, all the performance of it, we'll slowly increase that. So like, maybe month 2, people with a pro account might get 2 that month.
Right.
Month 3 with a premium and a pro account, they might get 2, and maybe a pro ends up getting 3, a month or 2 down the road. And, maybe 3 months down the road, they get 4 or 5, like we might slowly increase that over time, depending on account level. What I don't want to happen is, so, you're talking about Reptile Ring and these other, Facebook auctions, things like that. I feel like over time, Facebook auctions started to kind of fizzle out a little bit, just because there ended up being so many of them that they weren't getting the traction that they needed to justify, listing something up and putting it on there. And then eventually Facebook just cracked down and, wouldn't allow it. But I feel like they kind of, supply was too high, demand wasn't, high enough, and there weren't enough people actually bidding. So I feel like, limiting per seller, and then kind of going from there, seeing how it all, turns out. That's going to be the best approach. We're going to keep it really simple. So as a seller, you go in, you select, whatever animal you want. My opinion, I think that a lot of people are going to select, more unique or higher end animals when we do limit it, to just 1 per month. Because if we just said, hey, you can list as many as you want, we're going to have people on there listing 20, 30 animals, and they're going to be listing, $100, $50 animals that they want to get rid of. But if it's limited, then it's going to be more of an event. It's going to allow sellers to have that one auction every month. They're going to want to tell all their, customers. They're going to want to, send out make a post on Facebook and Instagram, send out an email about it, whatever, because they're going to want their auction to perform well. They're not going to want, no bids on it. So I think limiting it is going to be really good there. We're going to keep the settings really simple on it. So you can enable an auction. Once you enable the auction, you can choose a starting bid. So you can put in, $50, $100, whatever you want to do there, or leave it at 0. And then every auction is going to have $5 increments on the bids. So, doesn't allow you to put in a bid of like $257. It has to be like $255 or $250 or $350. It has to be a number in increments of 5. But it can be, you can bid $20 more, $30 more than the previous bid. And then the last thing is going to be like a minimum amount. So basically like a reserve price. So if you don't hit the reserve price, then, nobody wins it. So that allows sellers to also put kind of like their minimum price on it of, hey, I'm only going to take $400 for this animal, nothing less. And if it doesn't hit that, then nobody wins the auction. And then the auction, I don't think a lot of people are going to do that either, because, then they're not even going to be able to auction it off. And, if they put too high of an amount, then they're kind of going to waste their auction for the month. And then one other big thing is with the auctions, as somebody goes in, they're going to have a, they're going to have like, you can bid as many times as you want on it. But basically, yeah, you bid in $5 increments. If you win the auction and you don't follow through, or if the seller doesn't follow through, whatever user does not follow through gets reported by the other user, and they end up getting banned from auctions forever. Like they'll never be able to do auctions again. So it kind of prevents any kind of shenanigans there. You know, like we're not going to allow people to go in and bid things up and then not follow through with it. They're going to get kicked off.
My thing was is like, you know, having someone who don't care as much as others, like kind of ruin it by doing not such a good quality of an auction, or just kind of just fucking with people too. You know, I think there has to be some system in play where we're making sure people are like doing this shit for the right reason and really serious about it. Cause you know, there's time wasters out there too. And just people who are just sickly bored with their life. And we'll fuck with other people's money without caring about being banned and all sorts of stuff. So,
Yep.
And I'm sorry, Bob, did you ever partake in the auctions back in the day when Facebook, when it was really popular on Facebook? And even you, Dave, did you guys ever partake in any of those?
I made a living off of that shit in the first year.
Wow, no way. So I mean, so you know, so for you, they worked.
Yeah, I made probably $100,000 on Facebook auctions first year it came out.
And do you think that could still possibly happen with Morph Market doing it?
So here's the thing. Facebook auctions group had like 1,000 members, maybe 2,000 members per group. You know, there was multiple groups, and over 2,000-3,000 members at a time. Probably the most popping group by like at its peak may have had 3,000 to 3,500 members. Morph Market has 6,000 sellers, and then outside of sellers, you have the buyers. And the buyers, if you're smart as a seller, I feel like this would work. The auctions will work for breeders and sellers that want it to work. If I'm going to post an auction, I'm not going to be an idiot and post an animal like I'm going to post a bumblebee pos het hypo male, just like everyone's just going to move inventory like every other USARC auction. Okay, you go to USARC auction, it's just a bunch of male breeders that you can't sell, so you donate it to USARC. You're doing this as a business. You're trying to move inventory. You're trying to sell things. You're going to post up something good. You're going to post up $1,000 female, $1,000 powerful animal. And then you're going to copy that ad and you're going to post it into your Instagram, into your Facebook, into your TikTok, and get people to engage into your auctions. The auctions are going to have functions where you can see how many people are watching the auctions, bidding on the auctions, who's bidding on the auction, so that you know it's not like bots, like some of the other auctions I've seen.
Yeah.
And if you're a smart seller, I think you can capitalize on this. Even if it's one auction per month, later on it could be 2, 3, 4, depending on your tier, which ones you're paying for. And I think it could be good. Again, there's always a chance there's going to be bozos auctioning off dumb stuff. People again bidding and not paying. Again, that's the first few months you're going to expect that. Morph Market, again, like he said, they're going to ban accounts for that. And then as a seller, if you're posting something with no reserve and not willing to ship an animal because it went too low, you're going to get banned for that, off the auctions anyways. And I think it'll work, man. The auctions back then, Facebook, it was fun. It was exciting. We all got a chance to participate. You just go in and you never know what's going to be on there. I enjoyed it a lot.
Quick question. All right, so 2 things on that. First off, reserve price. And now this is more me talking to people using it. If people get used to going on and the reserves are so high that they're not winning animals, they lose interest. If they go on, they start winning animals, they feel like they're getting good deals, be happy with the sale, in my opinion. I think buyers not meeting the reserve is very frustrating for a lot of people from my experience. So, keep that in mind, be fair about it, but be practical about your reserve price. Also,
and if we're going to track all this. So, I track everything. I'm pretty overly analytical with a lot of this stuff. So, if I see that a lot of auctions aren't meeting the reserve price, like if it's more than, 5%, something along those lines, we're going to get rid of it. So, I'm not going to allow reserve. I'll just delete that feature off of there. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. Even that first month, don't be surprised if, if you can't do a reserve after that. So keep that in mind. And I'm going to send out an email to all sellers as well, just letting them know like, hey, this is here to start, but we might have to get rid of it. Just like with anything else, we're going to test everything out, see what works well, see what has the best performance overall, and if there's any kind of negative, and we're gonna change something.
Yeah.
Well, here's the complaint that you're gonna get is someone's gonna make a post It's going to be a $1,000 animal. They're going to post $1,000 animal. They're going to put the reserve at 900. It's not going to meet the reserve. It doesn't sell, and they're going to make a big post complaining that blah blah blah. Look, people are going on auctions for a reason. Same again. MJ, you just commented on there that says it's an eBay system for animals. Yes, that could sound negative, but it could be positive. In this industry, the market
eBay was amazing. Think about when eBay first came out back in the day.
Right.
It was game changing. That was fucking like, whoa. Go ahead.
Right. So it's like it could be such a great thing for sellers to just be able to move one item, two items a month, but don't be unrealistic with your reserve, because people go on auctions to get a deal. Again, if you have $1,000 animal with a $900 reserve, I would have just offered you $900. You're probably going to accept it anyway. I didn't have to go to auction and wait days for it. So I think if people are realistic with their reserves, I discussed it with Darien earlier. I'm just going to make an announcement for all my auctions. I think we're going to try to promote this auction thing up a lot, and I'm just going to announce no reserve, no starting bid, and just let it ride. Let everyone have fun, and if it goes low, it goes low.
Let everyone have. Go ahead.
Do you think you should have, I know it's extra work, but, when we talk about putting a high-end animal up at auction, you got to be really selective, because if I had a customer buy that high-end animal a week beforehand and then here am I put an auction a week later, it is a bad look. So as a seller, you got to keep that in mind. But should you have like an elite section for the auction and then just an auction section, like the best of the best? Big boys are putting up good animals. If you want a chance, this is that section for you. Just something to separate it so it's not a mungle or like a jumbled mess of a bumblebee next to a DG clown, let's say.
I agree with that, because I follow a sport auction page, Pristine Auctions, and then they have an elite auctions. So all their high-end items are going to go into one category, and then everything else. So you can kind of screen through and go through the high-end auctions. That could maybe be something Darren can look at. Again, that could maybe be a thing where it's like, if you pay $5 as a seller to have yours into the elite auctions area, something like that could be something you can think about.
Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff like that. I've got a whole notebook of just random notes and ideas and all that. So, we're going to see how it goes the first 3 to 4 weeks. And as that progresses, I'll get some of these ideas and really figure out what would be the most beneficial. Like we're going to have a lot of really cool things, like within a month or so. We're going to be building out like notifications and push notifications and things like that. So literally, if you've got the app on your phone, you're going to get notifications right there of, you were outbid in this auction, or, a seller that you follow just listed their first auction, stuff like that. So we're kind of going like the whole social media, Facebook, Instagram route with everything, and adding a lot of this, the, alerts or notifications. We're going to have, a few other, cool things where you'll get, different alerts for different things, kind of keep people on the site. And then we're going to have a specific section for auctions, but you're also going to be able to see auctions in the normal listings as well. So as you're just scrolling through listings as you normally do, you're going to see auctions as you're going through, and it's going to be very clear. Like it's going to look just like the other listings, kind of like how we have the deals, right? So we have like, you can mark your stuff on sale, and now it's like a red price with the crossed out original price to the left of it. Auctions are going to be kind of similar, where it's going to have the price, and then to the left of it, it's going to say, like the number of bids. And then down below on the right, it's going to say auction. So like you're going to have, I think they're going to get a ton of traffic, because, we've got over 500,000 unique visitors a month visiting Morph Market, which is, far more than any other reptile, related platform has ever even come close to, as well as Facebook. Even with Facebook, if you had a page on your site, on your Facebook page, you might have, 50,000, 100,000 followers, but it might only reach 1,000 people, so like, you're not going to actually get a lot of views. Whereas with Morph Market, people are going to scroll right through, and they're going to be seeing your auction, because you can choose 1 to 7 days. So you can choose like the duration of it. So it'll last anywhere from 1 to 7 days. And when you go through and you, you see that, you're going to see when the auction ends. It's going to have like the time remaining and all that as you're scrolling through. So you're going to really get a lot of people that might not even know about the auctions or even be interested in it, but they're just going to see the animal as they go through. So it's going to be very, I think it's going to be probably the most successful thing on Morph Market to date, in my opinion.
Okay.
Now-
Go ahead, bud.
No, you go ahead, Dave. I miss you. Go ahead.
Just on the duration or how long you're going to actually do it for period-wise, I'm sure Bob will agree with this. If you run a 4-day auction, day 1, you're going to get a couple bids. Day 2 and 3, you might not get any bids. And then the last 2-3 hours, you're going to get a ton of bids on the last day. So 7 days might be a long time to leave an animal up, especially if nothing's happening, because there's going to be 3 or 4 or 5 days in between where people aren't even going to pay attention to it. So I think short and sweet with the auctions would probably be the way to go personally, just because you don't want it hanging around for 7 days. If 5 days, no one's going to look at it.
Well, so that's the other cool thing is the nice thing about it is that when you go to the auction section, like you go to the auction tab, kind of like the deals tab, it's actually going to be sorted by ending soonest. So just like the deals, you're actually, like the way we have it set up right now is when you go to deals, you're going to see the deal that's ending, in the next hour. With auctions, it's going to be down to the minute. So you'll actually see like ending in 1 minute, ending in 5 minutes, ending in 25 minutes. And you're going to see all that as you're going through. So you could go to just all animals and you go to the main page with all animals, which these are also going to be on the home page as well. So right from the home page, you can see auctions ending, in minutes, and then you can click view all and it'll take you to all. And then from there you can filter it out. So you can, if you're interested in just seeing, auctions that are, ball pythons specifically, all you do is click on the filter icon, select ball pythons as a category, and now you filtered it out. So you can filter auctions down to specific genetics, whatever you want, just like everything else.
Let me ask you this. I have a few questions. So as people bid, are you going to be able to extend the auction based on the last bids? So this happens for back when Facebook auctions was like this. After the last bid, it extends the auction 5 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever it is to prevent like sniping, pretty much. That's what someone asked. It's called overtime bidding.
Yeah.
So we don't have that built out now. We were thinking about adding it. That might be something that we add, after the fact. Haven't really decided on that, but I think that there's a possibility that could be the case, but I don't know. I've done a bit of research on auctions, and there's a lot of sites that have that feature where it kind of doesn't allow you to, or it allows you to bid afterwards. So like it keeps extending it 5 minutes or something along those lines. I don't know that it's really necessary. I guess within a week, we'll have our answer. But if that ends up being a problem, then we can fix that.
Now, does a buyer have to have their credit card information or payment information already on hand when they bid, so that when they win the auction, do you need to message the winner, or do they need to go ahead and pay and get that transaction through?
So just like Facebook and everything else, it's going to be down to just figuring out payment details afterwards, which you can use the buy now feature for that. So something that a lot of people might not even know is when you list an animal on Morph Market, you can actually select like whether the ad is public or private. Basically, if you set the ad to private, then you can go in and select, and add like the buy now feature to it. And now it's a private listing, so people can't actually see it. And then you can just go share the link with, the auction winner or whoever. And that, you can set like a specific price or a deal or whatever you want. But for the auctions, you can do that as well. So that way, at least, you know, you can do payment via that, or you can do, you know, Zelle, Cash App, PayPal, you know, whatever else you use. But no, we're not going to actually have a specific, like, you know, payment requirement or anything like that. We might add that later on. We might, you know, add the Square payments to it, but there's also a lot of legality concerns. So we've had all of our attorneys go through multiple times, and we've kind of figured out how to build this out to where we don't really have to be like an auctioneer. We don't have to have like any kind of permits or anything like that. So the cool thing with it is that there's no, we're not like going in, and it's not like a normal auction where we're not going in and like doing, you know, collecting the payment. We're not like, you know, doing any kind of like bidding and pay system. We're not, you know, giving like a you know, a quote on like, you know, okay, this is the valuation of it, anything like that. So by having it be like strictly, you know, people go in and they can bid, and then the last, you know, at the last second, basically it ends, and then the final bid is the winner. That kind of allows us to actually make this thing a reality without having to spend tens, you know, or, you know, tens of thousands of dollars, and have, you know, auctioneer license and permits and bond, you know, be bonded and insured and all that kind of stuff. So the way that we're doing it is like very simple, which could come with some potential issues, but we've gone through, we've tested it out. I think it's going to be just fine. If there's any kind of concerns, any kind of problems later on, we can fix that. And that brings me to another point, that with the auctions, we're not adding like an automatic bid system yet. So whatever you put in, that's the amount that you bid. However, we are going to add an additional, basically an additional feature. So we're adding Morph Market Plus here pretty soon. That's going to have, it's going to be a $5 a month service for buyers. All sellers who currently have accounts with us at, you know, $11 a month or more, they'll automatically get all the same features, but this kind of is like an extra feature for buyers. So they'll have like part of it will go to USARK and conservation, and then essentially the rest of it goes to Morph Market for these additional features, which are going to be things like automatic bidding. So you can go in and put like a maximum bid on an auction. And, you know, let's say you're willing to spend up to $600, and it'll only go in $5 increments above whoever else bids. So it'll kind of keep you as the high bidder. So even at the last minute, somebody else bids, you're going to hit them, you know, and it's pretty much going to give the bid to whoever was the highest, you know, the winning bid. So, but yeah, with Morph Market Plus, we're going to have a ton of these additional features, like some of these, you know, additional alerts and things like that. So
from what I'm hearing, these auctions will be for members only, right? Like not just a free member could use this, right? Will this?
No, yeah, it'll be for everybody. So as long as you have a Morph Market account, you can take part in auctions, but your account must be at least 14 days old. So you must have your account for 2 weeks. And then basically the Morph Market Plus features, those are going to be like ultra premium features. You're going to have, you know, access to some of like, you know, maybe if we do elite auctions, things like that, you know, you're going to have additional kind of like watching the auctions, and you'll be able to have like alerts and stuff like that, to where it's like, hey, you know, you just got outbid. So we're going to have some additional Morph Market Plus. We're not going to really push it too hard, but it's going to be kind of like, you know, power users, you know, anybody who's, you know, maybe they used to be a breeder, maybe they have a few animals, and, you know, they're, you know, just, it also kind of, you know, they'll get like ID verification and stuff like that. We'll be able to verify their ID. They're going to have like their verified buyer badge, check mark, and all that. So not only will they have features, but it's going to be more likely that a seller is going to sell to them because they are, you know, kind of verified, and like, okay, this is an actual verified account versus, you know, just some random person who signed up on Morph Market.
So this could definitely lead to, like Bob was saying, like back in the day, the Facebook auction was based off these big Facebook groups of communities, right? So this could eventually bring more interaction to the Morph Market, where this community could grow into something. Like this could grow into something where these auctions can pick up and be something big. But I'm wondering if like you as a person throwing an auction could maybe have like a high rollers auction, or just maybe have certain members, like a certain tier membership only be a part of the auction because you're doing like a high-end animal, let's say, or something like that, just to kind of filter out people who aren't fucking serious. You know, that's my biggest thing, is people who are bidding who ain't got that money and they're just here to fuck around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's where it really is. It's like, you know, having somebody pay that $5 a month, it shows that they're serious. They've got a verified, you know, verified account.
But even $5, it could be someone who's over Morph Market already, and they're just gonna go out just fucking like a dick. Like I even think not even $5 is shit. Personally, I feel like that. You know, unless they have like a legit rating, they sell animals. Like you know what I mean. Then it shows that they're actually using it. But I just know there's people who are not even really using Morph Market. You know what I'm saying? Yep.
Well, and that's another cool thing about this is, so we're cracking down really hard on fraud and scammers and spam and things like that. We've had a ton of that this year. And, you know, Morph Market's always had a lot of that, but it's gotten even worse. You know, I mean, over time, over the last few years, you know, technology and all that, you know, with everything evolving, it's gotten pretty bad. So we're adding a lot of these things too, to where we are, you know, we get a lot of complaints about things. So it's like, you know, we'll have a lot of sellers, you know, not only are people complaining, okay, hey, I'm not selling enough, but then they also are going to complain that they're getting too many tire kickers and too many people not interested, you know, that aren't serious.
Okay, the habitual tire kicker. There are habitual tire kickers out there, fat and skinny. I want to be fair on that. They're all sizes. All right. They're not just fat. They're all sizes. But yes, there are habitual tire kickers out there, Darien.
Yep. And that's the thing, is we've identified a lot of them. We've removed them from the platform. So we're investing well over $50,000 over the next couple months to build out even more features. We've already built out quite a bit in the last month or two, but we've got a couple people working on a lot of other features to, you know, verify accounts and, you know, a few other things like that kind of in the background. So we track, like, you know, how many inquiries people are creating, how many bids, you know, people are going to be doing, how many.
Hey, there should be a verified with wife button. There should be a verified with wife button. That would be fucking sick.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of these, you know, a lot of these people that, you know, they're not, number one, there's not enough information on the buyer right now for the seller. So I'm adding a few additional features there. And then on top of that, we're cracking down on these, you know, habitual, you know, people that are just going in and you know, not serious. So it's like, if they've gone in and sent, you know, 50 inquiries and never bought anything, then they're just kicked out, you know, like they're gone. But we've got a lot of that stuff going on. We're limiting certain things. So like, we're going to be adding limits to, you know, the number of inquiries a user can send per day. The number of bids a person can do, and the number of, you know, with our new make an offer feature, that's another way that we can kind of catch these, you know, scammers or fraudsters. You know, like we can see that, hey, they're putting in way too many of these offers. So the really cool thing about it is that we're adding all these additional features, which are going to add. There's a fine line that we have to not cross, where you know, just like with Dubia.com, you know, we're probably the biggest out there for feeders online, and we have, you know, a great, you know, e-commerce platform. And, you know, over the years, I've gotten our conversion rate from about 1.5% to over 10%. So more than 10% of people who visit Morph Market, you know, that's pretty much what I've worked on for years. And that's my background is, you know, analytics and website, you know, design and UI, UX and all that. So kind of the thing that I'm focusing on over the next 6 months to a year is, you know, a lot of that, which a lot of it has to do with, you know, how easy it is to do things. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there, where, you know, the immediate conclusion people want to jump to is, oh, we've got too many people that are scammers. So let's just require ID verification, and let's require, you know, that they have an account and like all these other things. Well, every single thing that you do, like realistically, how many people are going to go to a website, see a ball python available that they want to buy, and then go in and like get their account approved and send in their ID and, you know, go through all this verification and verify their email, verify their phone number, verify SMS, you know, all that. They're not going to do that. What they're going to do is they're going to go to Morph Market, which is what a lot of users already do, is they go to Morph Market and then they just reach out direct to the buyer or to the seller or the breeder, right through their Facebook page, or they go to their website, they go to their Facebook, their Instagram.
Their phone number a lot is right there in their
They've got their phone number, you know, whatever. So that's how a lot of people, you know, we see a lot that do that. And, you know, it's really like there's a fine line there of when we add things like, you know, verification and all that, you know, we're just kind of hurting the platform. So we have to do it, you know, strategically. It's like, okay, what can we do in the background where we can kind of like get information about this person without directly asking for it, you know, directly like having some sort of thing that they have to go through, you know? So
I want to hear from Bob. Bob, first and foremost, do you handle all your inquiries on Morph Market, or does someone else do that?
I handle all of it. I actually had someone ask me that the other day. They're like, who am I talking to? And I'm like, Bob. And they're like, oh, just making sure it's not like an employee or something. No. I handle all of my inquiries on Morph Market, Instagram, Messenger, all of that. Yeah.
How do you delegate, quote unquote, tire kickers? Like, and I know you're a smart guy. Like, you know, you're in sales. I'm sure with questions you're kind of able to kind of groove things out. But you personally, how do you treat one or handle one, or what do you do about one?
You can either treat them all as tire kickers, or you can treat them all as customers. I mean, it's the same mentality. I did insurance for years. You're gonna have to weed through a bunch of no's before you get a yes.
Yeah.
Tire kickers. Well, at least someone's kicking your tires. The worst thing that can happen to a seller is not getting an inquiry for a week. You know, you can sit there all week with an inquiry. At least someone's inquiring on your animal, so that's kind of at least a little morale boost. You know, if I get 10 inquiries and I don't get sell anything, then it's a sign that's either something's wrong, or you know, the way I'm responding or my pricing or something's off. If I get 10 inquiries and don't get a sale there, I'm about, I want to say at least probably every 3 inquiries I close a sale. Every now and then I understand someone inquires like, oh, beautiful snake, blah, 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 blah. And they just want to chit chat. That's fine too. But every 3 inquiries pretty much going to sell a snake. And so I get excited no matter what inquiry comes in, because I already know after 2 more, I'm going to get a sale. So it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I started my sales, you know, resume at a mall selling cell phones. And my biggest thing was having people just walk by me. I needed people, opportunities, you know what I'm saying? And mind you, these were people who didn't want to even fucking talk to me to begin with, you know, but at least these people are coming to me, you know what I'm saying? But it is a mentality. Like, a lot of these people aren't really salesy, let's just say that, or even know how to deal with like an easy, like, hey, just interact with this person a little bit, and I guarantee it can lead to something. Because I think a lot of people are used to just a straight sale, like, hey, I want this snake, here's the money. Where nowadays people got questions, a little bit more questions.
It happens at the shows too. If you're a show guy, you know the same thing. There's going to be vendors that are mad about a show being too busy. I've heard this before. The show's too busy, but they didn't make a lot of sales. So I'll tell you right now, I love Reptilian Nation, the show itself, but there's a lot of vendors there that are very disgruntled because there's going to be Dave's having technical difficulties. There's going to be 15. What, Dave? How many people walk through the door, you think, in Houston?
I know it was 10,000 again, right? Over under 1,000 or so.
I would say over 10,000 through the door, right?
Yeah.
I think they said something like 12,000 at this last one.
Right. So 12,000 people through the door, and I had vendors complain that there was too many people wanting to hold snakes or didn't know anything about snakes yet. They're there. Why are they here? I'm like, bitch, they're there to learn about reptiles. It's a reptile show. You are there to educate them. You are the expert. You're the breeder. And we had a lot. This was our 4th time back in Houston. We had a lot of people that did not buy from us the very first time they saw us at the show. They held their first snake, 6 months ago with us, and then now they're ready. They went home, did some research, and they're like, we're going to buy from the guy that helped us out. So it's the same mentality. You're going to answer their questions, be a professional online, and the same way you got to do it at a show.
100%, man. God damn, you couldn't say it better. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I actually ran into a seller at the Houston show, and she does hognose snakes. And the thing that I noticed when I walked over to her table, there were 15, 20 people every time I walked by.
Yeah.
And she's sitting there interacting with people, answering tons of questions, giving out all sorts of facts about hognose snakes. I was standing there for like 5 minutes and she's like, "Oh, here, hold this one. This is awesome." And I'm like, "All right." And she's like telling me all about it and everything. And, I was like, that is how, this stuff needs to happen. And when I went up to her, toward the end of the show, I was like, "Hey, how'd you do?" And she's like, "Oh, it was amazing. We killed it." And, it's like, you just have to talk to people and you have to, be approachable, and it's like, as Bob was saying, with sales and everything else, I did door-to-door sales. That's about as bad as it gets.
That's a different beast. That's a different beast right there. I'll tell you
I have people tell me to fuck off and like, get the fuck out of here, whatever. And I go to 100 or 150 houses and close one sale, like per 100 houses.
Where were you selling Kirby? Where were you selling Kirby vacuums? Where were you
I was selling pest control, actually.
Oh, that's not too bad.
This is after I started Dubia too. So
he's breeding roaches. He's going to release roaches at their house and sell them pest control.
You're going to bring a colony over like, "Man, look at this corner right here. You are infested."
Yeah, that was in Seattle. Yeah, that was in Seattle. And it was actually the second year. Yeah, this was year 2 of starting DubiaRoaches.com. And I was literally door to door knocking doors in Seattle. And then I would go, and in between, like while I was walking from house to house, I'd get on my phone and I'd be answering customer service messages, handling all the business side of things, and then go back to the next door and sell pest control while I'm talking to people about, buying bugs for their pets. So it was pretty fun.
Grinding. I mean, but listen, this is what Dave was, I don't know if Dave or Bob said this earlier about working harder, but there's going to be flows in this hobby or in this industry where you're going to have to step your shit up a little bit more and you're going to have to fucking dig deeper and grind. But if you're not willing to do that, you can't expect to last in this. That's for damn sure. And not everyone's really meant to. But you do got to find a way to put yourself out there more and not worry about the sale that day, but with the sale that could come back the next time you vend. Because it's a community. It's a lifestyle. Vending becomes something where people know you're going to be there and they're going to come fuck with you as long as you do right by them. And I'll give hella props to Bob, because anytime I go by Bob's table, for the most part, he's usually in front of his tables fucking talking to somebody. I mean, we're always talking to someone, Bob, and that's kind of what needs to be done. Hanging out behind the table, I guess, is cool if you're bagging a snake, but other than that, you should be in the fucking front row getting shit done, and shaking hands and kissing babies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the thing too, people complain about, all the messages and inquiries and the tire kicking and whatever else. But I mean, the fact of the matter is you're competing with everybody else on the platform and everybody else selling reptiles. So we'll have people reach out and say, "Hey, I want to report this user because, they just weren't interested. They asked a bunch of questions and then they left." I go look them up, and 7 or 8 times out of 10, I look up the user and I look up what they did that day, and I can go through and look, okay, they sent this many inquiries out. Most of the time they sent, 5 to 10 inquiries out to 5 or 10 sellers. So they might've reached out about 5 or 10 different snakes. And then whichever seller replied to them quickly and professionally and all that, they went with that one and they bought from that person. So they might not have replied to the other 4 or 5 or 10 because, they either took too long or, they ended up working out a deal quicker with another one. So just because a user didn't buy from you, you can't just like assume that they didn't buy anything. Most of the time, as I said, like generally a user gets on Morph Market, they send out 5 to 10 to, whoever has what they're looking for, and they pick one, and you're all competing to get to that one. And somebody might reply in 2 hours, 3 hours. Well, you might reply in 8, and by the time you reply, they're already, they already have what they're looking for. So it's there's a lot of scenarios there, a lot of different, possibilities, but that's generally kind of the case from what I've seen.
So
You mentioned earlier that there's going to be something on our end where we can see the profile of a buyer and how often they buy or if they buy at all.
Yeah. So right now you can see the number of inquiries, but you can't see the number of purchases. You can see inquiries and reviews or ratings. So the biggest thing is we're adding the ability to see number of verified purchases. That's if somebody actually, like you as a seller, marked an animal sold to a buyer. That's not perfect because we've found that, probably about a third of sales or even up to half don't actually get marked as sold. Like, we'll have verification from the buyer saying, hey, I bought this animal from this person. And then they send us the message thread and they definitely purchased it. It was shipped to them, but then the animal was either just marked as sold or marked as sold to other user. So it's not going to be perfect. And I think that people should consider that, but it will show on their buyer profile the number of inquiries, the number of sales, and the number of ratings and what their ratings are. So you'll be able to get like a, somewhat of an idea there. If they've sent 100 inquiries and they've, bought 5 animals, that might not be too bad. Now if they, have sent 500 inquiries and bought 1, then, you're probably like, okay, this person's not even worth, replying to. But then again, it's not always going to be true either. It's not always, the numbers aren't completely accurate. So it's not like you can take that as like fact because they might have reached out to a bunch of these people. So at least it'll give people an idea though.
So, by the way, 175 people tapped in. Appreciate all you. Get the likes up. Hit that like button, please. This is a great episode. We're just getting started, getting warmed up. Darren, you had your visits at a lot of shows this year. You made your rounds. Respect by, showing your face. But you also had some things to document. You had some things to see and whatnot. What's going to be your big collaboration with shows in 2024? Like, if it's one thing that you're looking to help change or progress in reptile shows, what would that be? And how's that going to relate to Morph Market?
We're going to be pretty heavy on Morph Market with promoting expos. I think that that's a really good thing. I think cross promotion's really good. I feel like expos do a really good job of getting a lot of people through the door and like local and, talking to people, talking to their face essentially like, hey, here you go. That's really good for connecting people and getting them, hands-on with things. But then after the show, they kind of leave. Now they've got to re-advertise to them, re-promote to them. And, in a perfect world, what I would do is, I promote expos on Morph Market, and then the expos promote Morph Market as like, hey, go to here, in between shows. Yeah. And I saw somebody say it, Dave Blink, man.
I just can't. I can't. Now I'm going to blink too much. I'm going to blink too much now.
Yep. Doesn't happen. It's a profession. Go ahead.
It's like your screen's frozen. I don't know. Maybe it is.
It might be frozen. It might be frozen. Sorry. Hey, back to you, buddy. Back to you.
So yeah, I really think that cross promotion is really good. I mean, I'm going to promote the hell out of shows, especially shows that are doing a good job. I think that there's too many that, don't really, they allow too many vendors in that are kind of questionable, or they, allow all these other random, I don't know, massage, chiropractor, beef jerky, pure romance, sex toys, whatever it is. I don't know. They sell all sorts of shit. I've seen it all. I mean, I guess, we've got a good crowd for all that. Maybe that's what we're going for. Maybe they're successful. I don't know. But it's like, you've got a lot of that stuff going on. And then you've got, sellers that might not be the greatest. There's, they're just kind of flipping shit, putting it in a deli cup and calling it a day. And that's the kind of stuff that I think hurts our industry a lot more than anything else. Because, you go to these, pet stores or expos and you go buy an animal, you've never had a reptile in your life. And the first thing you buy is, dead a month later. And, it's like, they didn't, give you any info on, how to take care of it right, set it up, things like that. There's just too many much of that going on, I think. So hopefully we can get that, hopefully that kind of improves over time. I feel like we've come a long way in the last, 5-10 years as an industry. But I also feel like, a lot of that can be improved. But, as I said before, I think that cross promotion is really good because, you get the people in, they get the hands-on experience, and then they go to Morph Market. And now that kind of, is like in their ear all the time. They're always seeing it on their phone. And then when it comes time to, go to an expo again, at least they've had that kind of on their mind, I guess. So it's also easier to just reach them again, because over time we're going to add some things where some of these shows, if they promote, Morph Market at the show, then we're going to add features where as an expo, you can actually go on Morph Market and, view the animals that are going to be available at the expo and, figure out, what expos are upcoming, in your area. And so that's going to be really nice where, if you're on Morph Market, you're going to get a notification. If you're in, Los Angeles, you're going to get a notification right on your phone that says this expo coming up, next weekend. And, when we add stuff like that, that's where it's really, that's where I think that the industry is going to have a big step forward if we can fulfill those, technological needs.
So what if you walk across a table with a Nile croc and a deli cup or something like that? I mean, but seriously, something like that, which obviously you don't feel is right at a show. Now that it's reporting something like that, I mean, do you feel like you're gonna have to be careful, or do you not care and you're still gonna let people know what you see is wrong?
I don't give a fuck. I'll let them know what I think is wrong. Yeah.
And Dave,
I mean, it's a controversial topic, but I don't think that people shouldn't have Nile crocodiles or crocodilians or venomous or whatever, but having it publicly at an expo available right on a table where you like, I've been to a lot of these hot shows and, I go up there and they don't even know who I am. And I'll just be like, oh, this is cool. How much is this? And they're like, oh, $150 or $50 for a Gaboon Viper, and it's like $50 and it's in a little cup and it's like, oh, I could just buy it, and it's like that kind of stuff I feel should be a bit more, there should be a little bit more friction, like as I was saying before, you've got this friction on Morph Market of like, oh, let's require an ID for anybody creating an account. But then where's the ID, requirement when somebody goes to buy a fucking Nile crocodile at an expo, at 16 years old? I mean, come on. Like you can't talk shit in one place and not, mention the other. So it's, it's my opinion that it's like, why would we not, be a little bit more responsible about that sort of thing?
Dave, how do you feel about it though? Like, how do you feel about how Darien got treated for posting that picture and whatnot?
Oh, I don't read the comments. Yeah, I don't really give a shit. I just jump in there if I got something clever to say. But I made that hat. That's how much I cared. Yeah, I should have. You know what the problem is? I should have told you what the definition of nihilism was before I got on the episode. I think it threw the whole thing off. I hope the crowd is smart enough to know what's going on right now. But here's a question. So kind of talking about this whole selling venomous. I've had this conversation before. The documentary Tiger King started with the whole idea of talking about selling venomous animals in our hobby. And I guess we kind of got lucky when a van pulled up with a tiger in the back.
Yeah.
Do you think that would have ever even have been anything that interesting without the personalities, even if that guy followed through with what he wanted to do? Or do you think it would just have fizzled and not have mattered?
It was a snow leopard, by the way. Sorry.
Snow leopard, bro. Sorry. No comment?
I think it would have made it that far the same way the cat community did. Oh, am I super loud?
Get that gamer mic in control, bro. Come on.
Oh, yeah, am I super loud? I don't think the snake community is nearly as interesting as the big cat community. Someone owning a big snake, so big whoop, but someone owning a tiger that lives right next to you is a way bigger news.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But that stuff's kind of cracked down. Like that's not, that's not how it used to be. You know, 20 years ago, there were people like, you know, I had like neighbors down the street that owned tigers and shit, you know, and then there were just too many things that happened over, you know, the last 10, 20 years that, you know, it's like, okay, now you have to have all these permits or it's illegal, you know, whatever. And, you know, I think that things like reptiles are kind of next. You know, people kind of vilify reptiles. It's like, oh, I'm here in Florida right now, and like, you just go out to these like, you know, like we're in like Mount Dora and we're looking at, you know, the dock down there, and, you know, there's like an alligator and a water snake. And immediately there's just dozens of people in this little town right there looking at it like, oh, this is so dangerous. Don't get too close. And it's like 20 feet away, and it's like down, you know, it's not even on the dock itself. Like, you're way above it. It's like, there's no risk of anything. And they're worried about like a 4-foot alligator and then this snake. And they're like, oh, it's a water moccasin. And it's like, it's a water snake, you know, like it's literally nothing. So, you know, people just have that immediate assumption with things. And I think that a lot of people going to, you know, reptile expos and whatever else, you know, they kind of have similar assumptions about things. And yeah, it's like, you know, we should educate the people on it. But also, if we just have all this stuff like, okay, you got all these venomous, you know, animals at an expo, people are going to look at that like, holy shit, you know, and then talk shit on it, report it, you know, whatever. You know, I mean, I've seen so many articles from, you know, different states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, all that, where like literally the, you know, the mayor or governor even has gone to these expos, and like, you know, there's actual documentation of this stuff where they're like, yeah, we need to crack down on this. And, you know, and it's like, it's only a matter of time, in my opinion. I think that that's something that we should at least just be mindful of.
So now I would assume that you feel the hobby has longevity. Otherwise, you wouldn't have invested in Morph Marketplace.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but I think that ever since I bought Morph Market, I've realized that it might not have as much longevity as I originally anticipated it would.
Whoa.
That's a real thing to say. I mean, there's no reason to sugarcoat it.
I have my reasons. I can't state why, but I can say that I've had a lot of government-related things that I've have access through Morph Market that I didn't have before, and yeah, I think it's a lot more risky than, yeah.
Is that why you're so kind of like pushing plants and the fish game and everything else? Because you feel like there might be a point where reptiles will be no longer with Morph Market?
I don't think reptiles in general, but I know that there's a lot of things that I think that in the next 5 years, for sure, we're going to see a lot more than we've seen in the past. That's my opinion. That might not be the case, but, you know, we can talk about it in 5 years.
Now, just a spin on that, though. We've been having this conversation for 20 years, though. And it's always been, we're going to lose. Now, I agree with the policing and, you know, trying to like be a little more strict about certain things in the hobby. You know, it's kind of tough for people when you tell them what they can and cannot have. We all know that's the way in any aspect of life. I mean, there are some things that we know we're going to lose. I mean, Bob can tell you, we just lost Burms in Georgia. It's over. And it went untalked about. Still, I don't hear anybody bringing it up in conversation. Yep. And I think that we're going to kind of see that, like Florida's going to be kind of the mecca for whatever happens.
Yeah.
Once Florida's out, you'll probably see a little trickle out into the neighboring states, and then kind of see what happens. But honestly, as long as Florida's thriving, I think the rest of the nation's going to be fine, outside of small laws being proposed in different states that pass or don't pass, in all honesty.
Yeah, I think that, you know, crocodilians and large, you know, large snakes are probably going to be kind of the first thing that we're going to see, you know, a lot of laws, you know, in different states, you know, as well as venomous too. I think that you know, that's my biggest concern with it, because, you know, they kind of go with like the whole white labeling thing, you know, it's like, they're not going to, you know, permitting and all that. Like the government is already they're overreaching in a lot of different areas. I think that people have seen that in the last, you know, decade compared to the 10 years before. You know, we've had a lot more, you know, and it kind of just happens. Like, you know, I've seen that with Morph Market too. It's like, you know, government, you've got 300 million people that you have to make decisions based off of, you know, everybody overall. And the more people you have and the more things that happen over time, you end up with all these terms and all these different rules and laws. And, you know, it's kind of like with Morph Market. We just went through tens of thousands of dollars later with our attorneys. You know, there's a ton of rules on Morph Market, a ton of different rules, tons of, you know, terms of service and conditions and all that. And that stuff has just been added to over time. Like every year it's like, okay, here's another 100 things. And that's happened, you know, the last 7 years on Morph Market. And it just keeps getting added to because people are idiots and they break things, they do things wrong. And then it's like, oh, well, now we have to cover our ass for this and cover our ass for that. And I think with reptiles and everything else, you know, it's kind of the same thing. It's like the government comes in and they go and do all these things. And the answer is, you know, let's ban it because it's easier. It's easier than having all these rules and laws and, you know, oh, you got to have a permit for this, you know, and then policing all that. They're not going to do that. They're just going to ban it because it's easier. So I think that the sooner that we are smart about things, I think that the better off we're going to be long term. Might not happen for 5 years or 10 years, but I think that things are going to happen, that, you know, crackdowns on turtles and crocodilians and, you know, large constrictors and, you know, things like that. That's going to happen. I mean, it's like kind of inevitable, I think, at this point.
I think the mindset, if I remember the early days of US ARC auctions, what was being sold to the community was, we're going to lose the berm so we can keep everything else. Like we have to give something so they don't take everything.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the case. I do think that some things are not, you know, going to be taken away and other things are. Like, you know, they might just take berms, retics, and crocodilians and be okay with it. But I don't think we really want even that, you know, like I don't think that anybody really wants that. So, and they could continue to take more. So I mean, I'm of the opinion that if we police ourselves a little bit better and we're, you know, a little more responsible when it comes to the public view of, you know, at expos and pet stores and things like that, I think that we're going to prevent a lot of that because, you know, I can just look at a few articles about, you know, especially Michigan and Pennsylvania. I think that Michigan and Pennsylvania will be the next states that are going to have a significant amount of laws in place. You've got Florida, Georgia, California, and then Michigan and Pennsylvania. Those will be next after that. Possibly Texas, actually. I think that Texas is another one that's down the road. Could be a problem, especially with Mexico and with some of the bordering, you know, El Paso and things like that. There's a lot of different potential issues there.
Wow.
So yeah, I think there's a lot of risk, and I think that we, you know, obviously a lot hasn't happened yet, but it's not 20 years ago or 10 years ago. You know, like we're in a different time, and people are constantly becoming more worried about, you know, dangerous animals, and you know, I mean, you see a lot of stuff all the time about, you know, dogs, you know, pit bulls and rots and whatever else, you know, and people are like worried about things, and it's like it's just going to happen. So
you know, maybe it's a little more on blast just because of social media, but you know, I always reference an old Bavarian magazine from the 90s that on one of the back articles that showed how many people were killed by horses, snakes, dogs, cats, so on and so forth. This is the discussion that's been going on forever. Yeah. And you know, this hobby is young, and you are right. You know, we shouldn't assume everything's going to be okay. I don't like living in the reality that things aren't going to be okay, though, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think that's something to consider too. You know, 10 years ago, how many expos were there in the US per year versus today?
Probably. I mean, here's the thing. I do think there's more now today, but there's also a lot of expos that don't exist anymore that, you know, I don't know if the numbers were as far off as you think they were. I'd have to look into it. I've been to expo for years. I know Reptile was doing a lot. Is it a lot more now?
Bob's calling crap.
There's more show me shows than there were Reptile shows 10 years ago.
There very well could be. Here's the thing. I do know that Repticon at one point did get to 2 to 3 to 4 shows a weekend. We all remember that. So we're kind of, I'm not going to disagree with that. It's a
That's when they were like the only one too. I mean, there's a, you know, probably 500 or 1,000 just little shows that are like one-offs. You know, that aren't even like
there's so many shows now. I mean, again, that's not a dig at show me shows. There's just a lot of show me shows, a lot of Repticons, a lot of these smaller circuit shows that are 5 shows, 10 shows, or whatever. Yeah. But I actually sat down with when they had the meeting to ban the berms in Georgia. Okay, that we sat down to plead with them that berms would not survive in Georgia, the whole deal. We gave them the whole spill. We gave them the scientific backing and everything. And they told us straight up, we want berms. You give us berms, you give us tegus, we leave everything else alone. And we never open this chapter again because we don't see a threat in any other species until we do see a threat. He says, if there is an invasive species that becomes a threat in Georgia, that could potentially even become a threat in Georgia, then we'll open this page again. But literally we sat down, they asked us for berms, they asked us for the tegus, and they moved forward with it. Again, we didn't really have much of a choice. And they just moved forward with it. Now, when you brought up the 300 million people in the U.S., 300 million people in the U.S. and the reptile community is this tiny in comparison. So when they're making the laws to protect the 299.5 million people out there from reptiles, they're not considering us at all because we're such a small factor. Emailing in, even if every single reptile person emailed in, it doesn't compare. So expanding our industry, just like we've been doing for the last 20 years, adding more people and more people and more people, having a bigger voice and becoming a larger fraction of the actual population is going to affect the rules in some way. And again, they're going to constantly attack the big animals, your big snakes, big lizards, and venomous. Those are the 3 that's always going to be attacked. And we're going to have to just live in the reality that those are going to constantly be under attack and certain states will lose them. Probably within the next 5 years, you're going to see probably 10 states lose large lizards, crocodilians, large snakes, and venomous. And that's just the reality of it.
With the Georgia thing, and, you know, just to go into details a little bit more, now wasn't one of the things that they brought to the table and why they were banning berms from a virus that was in their lungs that could be passed on to eastern indigos? And they were saying they were trying to save that population?
Yes, there's a virus. I forgot what they told us it was. Again, the whole time they were explaining it to us, we were explaining it to them that the berms couldn't survive up here to even pass on the virus. We're trying to explain to them that berms couldn't live outside of a certain county in Florida. No one's ever seen a wild berm in Orlando or anywhere north of Orange County. So the fact that I've been herping in Florida for the last 4 years, and we've caught berms down in South Florida. We know they're down there, but we've never caught them outside of that area. We've gone to the other areas. We've never found anything. And again, they know, but they already had it on their agenda. They wanted the berms and they wanted the tegus. That was on the list. Those are 2 main ones on the list. They put Indian rock pythons on there. I don't think they even know what Indian rock pythons are. There's like 6 people that I even know of that own Indian rock pythons. So that one didn't really matter, but the 2 main ones that we really wanted were berms and tegus. So we let them get it. I mean, we didn't say let them. Nothing we can do. They took them and they said, "Cool, we just won't open this book anymore." Again, could they have lied and say, "Cool, we're gonna open this book and then take the next species, retics or whatever next"? Probably, sure, but not really much we can do on our end. And I'm seeing, I think Louisiana just is having a bill proposed right now to ban reptiles over there. I think someone sent it to me.
And it's a lot too. I mean, it's not a.
Yeah. The Louisiana one's rough.
Yeah.
Interesting. So here's the thing. Last question, and then we can move on from this depressing topic onto another.
Yeah. This got seriously dark. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. I feel like it's been a pretty dark episode. I mean, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm not reading the room right, but I feel like there's been a somber, man.
Oh, good. It's keeping it real.
Oh, last thing, and I don't want this to sound political, but a conversation I had with Phil Goss years ago was that typically it was more Democrats that were passing certain policies for reptile keeping. But now with that same thing in mind, how fucked do you think the hobby would be if we elected a president from Florida? Somebody who's experienced what's happening down there, knows it firsthand. Like, do you think that's a negative? Like, do you think that'd be the first time it really hurt us?
What's he really experiencing? What's he really experiencing? Is he walking out there and got bit by a berm? No,
Right.
he's experiencing the media. That's all he's experiencing.
Negative. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
That's true.
So what happiness do you guys want to talk about? It? Any happiness?
Yeah, conspiracies. Listen, I feel no, hold on. Now, this kind of leads into like the agenda that Darien has, right? Like, is he really here for us, or is he here to slowly expose his true identity being a part of PETA?
Hold on, I need to change my name.
You can do that while you're live?
I think so. I hope so.
PETA
I
King?
don't think he's PETA. He ate a baby duck the other day, or a baby quail the other day.
Not PETA.
Not PETA? Yeah, no one's going to believe that now.
Okay. Before he answers, he's going to change his name. Let's see what this name's going to be. And can we get the likes up, please? Let's get the likes up. Not PETA or Biden. Okay. So.
Canceled.
Floor is yours, Darien. What do you have to say to to you being PETA and the agenda?
I mean, fuck PETA.
Say it one more time. Say it one more time. I'm sorry, you broke up.
Fuck PETA. Yeah.
For the record, all right.
Well, how about this, Darien? Do you know why people say that about you?
Yeah, why is that?
I really don't. I think there was like a screenshot going around that said I love. Hold on, I gotta find it. It said like I love PETA or something like that.
So you're saying this is all because of meme?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think so. I don't know. Maybe there's a lot more to it. But yeah, there was a screenshot that somebody actually photoshopped my name onto a post or edited one of my posts, and it literally said I think everything should be illegal, and I think PETA is really smart or something along those lines. It's something really dumb. It was kind of funny though.
So someone hacked into your account and took a screenshot of that, is what you're saying?
No, it was somebody went in and like just, oh yeah, right here. PETA actually does really good things for both the reptile community and the animals themselves. Darien Drollinger, September 11th, 2022. And it says that it has 190 likes on it. So, it's fake because with my friends list, I think number one, if I did this last year, 2022, 190 people would not have heart reacted posts like that. But
I think a lot of it came from just how you first came into just posting your feelings about certain demographics of the reptile community. Came out to ball python jokingly pretty hard, which, with Bob's personality, I mean, Bob, I don't think you were offended at all, right? When Darien was kind of just jokingly around and relating Bud Light to ball python breeders and all that stuff.
I don't get offended by much, dude. I'm like, I breed ball pythons. I don't get offended by
so do you think people just made a way bigger deal than they needed to, for sure?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was like, come on, man. People have been busting ball python breeders' balls forever. Like, literally, everyone makes fun of us. I mean, it's understandable. We're the only ones that are making money.
I mean, it's just too easy, Like,
yeah. The memes are ruthless, though. It's just a bunch of ball python breeders wearing tutus all the time. Yeah, man. I save them on my phone. I don't know. I look at them sometimes.
I've got some good ones. I've got a lot of dark ones too that I never shared because they were too fucked up for Facebook. So.
Will this energy go into 2024 though? Like anything that you plan on changing at all when it comes to you posting your feelings?
No, I've toned it down a lot. Like the last few months, the last like 2 to 3 months, I've toned it down. Earlier in the year, I decided to come in strong. I was like, all right, nobody knows me really well. Let's just go. I'm just going to go for it. And I didn't even expect it to happen. Like the crazy thing, there's a lot of background to a lot of things I've posted, because, you know, there would be some posts and it's like, in a ball python group. So like, there's like all these ball python breeders in this group, and they're talking about, you know, Morph Market sucks. We aren't selling as much there. I'd rather do shows. So then, you know, I'm like, okay, so they're talking about shows. So then immediately I was like, all right, why don't I just make a post that says, you know, kind of hits on them and shows at the same time. And I just said, you know, Morph Market is just like a reptile expo, but you can skip the ball python tables. So it's kind of a dig at them and the shows, because those were kind of the two things that I was getting heat for. And so that was like the first thing, you know, and then from there, it was just, it got a little unhinged for a while. There was a couple of
the sharing screenshots. I think that's kind of was that, like, things got hairy when you went after the mayor of Conjo Town. Let's just say that.
I thought we're never bringing that up ever again. Are we going to bury it in 2023?
All right. So what all are we talking about now?
Anyways, so I'm just saying though, like, you banning people first and foremost, right? Like, what's the energy gonna go like into 2024 behind like people potentially getting banned, or how are you gonna determine suspension and banning? Like, how are you gonna differentiate the two? Are you gonna let the person know, like, you know, you're suspended and this is a temporary thing if you wait this long, or like, how are these gonna?
Oh yeah, we do that all the time. We suspend people like every day. I mean, every few days there's somebody that gets suspended for something. You know, whether it's for a day or two or a month or whatever. You know, there's a lot of different things that people can get suspended for, like just questionable, you know, it's like, hey, this is against the rules and you broke the rules. So, you know, like, how many of
those people just leave Morph Market after you tell them that, or
not very many, almost none. I mean, we've literally lost, I think we've lost like 70 total sellers this whole year.
Whoa.
Like less than ever before. Like, it's not like it's, you know, anything crazy.
There's nowhere else to go, man.
Yeah, where are they going to go? Fauna Classifieds and see Morph Market ads? Like, come on.
What happened to wasn't there a silent group of investors looking to start Morph Market?
Bob's over there cracking up.
I thought there was meetings being held, and it was like secret and like, you know.
Oh yeah, there were, you know, expos. There's been some stuff behind the scenes. It's been pretty funny. I've heard a lot.
He almost got us in a fight in Tinley.
I did almost get in 2 fights at Tinley, 1 at Arlington and 2 at Tinley.
With who? Tell us what happened.
Just, I don't know, just some old folks. It was a lose-lose situation. I can't hit a 60 or 70-year-old person, you know, like I don't win.
I'm not gonna lie. I think he could take it. I think it would probably be a good fight. I'm not.
It's a different generation, bud. They could take a lot more than you think.
Yeah, I think
all
so.
Right, well, I just don't even.
But think about it. There's no win for him there.
Exactly.
He whoops the old
either way,
ass.
it's a lose-lose for you, buddy, for sure.
Yeah, or he gets his ass whooped by an old dude.
Yeah, I get my ass whooped. I'll beat a senior citizen. It's not going to work out very well.
Hey, but you did it for the community, buddy. We'd love you for it.
All I could picture is Bob Barker and Adam Sandler going at it and happy.
Oh, I like that.
No, but okay. I mean, I don't know. Are you still gonna be going to shows? Like, are you NARBCs and all that shit? You still plan on attending all those shows next year?
Well, yeah. How else am I gonna start shit? You know, other than Facebook. No, I'm gonna tone it down. 2024 is, you know, the whole year of 2024. I'm gonna go 12 months of just, you know, 60 hours a week working on Morph Market alone, on top of whatever else I do. And yeah, I'm going to be really like, we're going to build some cool shit in 2024. Morph Market is going to have the, you know, social media aspect to it. We're going to have alerts. It's pretty much going to turn into like Facebook, but not Facebook, because Facebook's shit. It's going to be like, you know, we're just adding a lot of really intuitive features to it. We're kind of integrating the community, the forums on there. So we'll have like a, you know, a really cool forum section, you know, maybe like a fauna, you know, BOI sort of thing, you know, just so we can have a little bit more entertainment. Yeah, it'll be good.
I think that's
awesome. And then, you know, King Snake and Fauna are going to make a comeback, and then Morph Market's going to go to shit. And
you're not worried about Craigslist?
No, we're at, we got plants now, we got fish, it's gonna be the future.
Do you have plans to kind of tap the outside people that aren't really in? Like, obviously you attract a lot of people who vend and go to shows, but is there a game plan with Morph Market to attract the person who isn't in the industry yet? Like any of that kind of outreach that you plan on doing?
We advertise on, Google, Facebook, we advertise on Reddit. We've got a lot of outside stuff there, but I think that the biggest thing is, now that we have reptiles, amphibians, inverts, fish, we have all aquatics actually. So we have freshwater, saltwater, freshwater inverts, saltwater inverts, corals, all that on there. And then we had plants. I think plants is going to be a game changer, because if we can get all of the terrarium and aquarium plants on there, and then on top of that, get some of the more rare, there's a lot of like more rare, higher end plants like carnivorous and stuff like that. There's a lot of really cool things that are, kind of their own hobby, kind of similar to reptiles and all that. I think that it'll be a really good way to get people who are, kind of into the same, like, I mean, we're all into like, nature and animals and whatever else. And a lot of these other markets, with plants, for example, they set up their little terrariums and they've got their vivariums and everything. And then, a lot of them end up getting into, amphibians, they put dart frogs in there, stuff like that. So, I think over time, a lot of it's going to kind of mesh together, and, you're on Morph Market and you're buying your plants, you got your fish, you got your reptiles, you got your amphibians and inverts. I mean, you can kind of do it all right there. So, and then marijuana after that. So.
Oh my God. Are you for reals on that? Are you just
No, I was just messing around, but I mean, I might take Morph Market and build out other marketplaces in different industries, maybe next year. So if I can figure out the whole marijuana thing, I mean, maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Weed market. That'd be great. All right. I got a wrap up question. You guys need to get one ready. Dave and Bob. Okay. And if you need to double it, Dave, go ahead. If you have 2 or 3, go ahead. But 2-hour mark, I got to let you guys know it's wrap up question time. Okay.
That's
Dave,
fine.
blink.
It's got to go to bed. It's like, like 7:52 over there. And I'm out here. It's like
11 here.
Yeah. It's 11 over here, buddy.
I'm on East Coast time right now, bro. I'm helping you guys out.
11.
Yeah. Listen, wrap up question coming from MJ first. Overall, with where you're at in 2023, are you happy with the year overall? And what is going to be the biggest exciting thing for you next year?
Yeah, I mean, everything's gone really well. I think, I probably could have done a little bit differently, been a little bit less of an asshole, but, overall it was a good year. And, right now I'm really excited about all the auction stuff and, a lot of these other features we've got, rolling out, kind of like the social media side with Cold Blooded, with our social media app, and then the new, forums and things like that. I think that, by the end of 2024, we'll have a lot of really cool stuff. And I mean, people aren't going to want to use anything else because, it's not even going to pull the candle to what we're going to have on Morph Market. So we've got a awesome team, got over a dozen people working at Morph Market now, which is, I think, more than double, maybe even triple what it's had before. So we've got a huge team, and it's going to be awesome.
I don't want to miss this question from my boy real quick, because we're talking about what's to look forward to next year. International shipping. Is there going to be any kind of news or updates as far as like anyone from overseas or, Canada, whatever, kind of being able to work out some sort of shipping through Morph Market?
We've considered it. As of right now, we actually take all liability off of Morph Market for anything international, just because there are so many delays and different, hoops that people have to jump through. So we've got issues where, sometimes it's like 6 months before a deal can be made, and, and animals can be shipped. So as of right now, we're not doing anything with international, just because of the potential liability. And, we want to kind of stay out of that a little bit. But in the future, if something presents itself and we've got a good way of, working with some of these import export guys, we'll definitely consider it.
Last thing, I'm so sorry, but any of the bugs, like, there was a lot of things being worked out, a lot of kinks and whatnot. What's the game plan behind that going into next year? Like, or is there something as far as anyone to look forward to with a lot of these issues that they might encounter on the website or on the app going to be fixed?
So Morph Market's always had a lot of bugs. It's gotten a little bit worse because we are upgrading a lot of different things. So we're completely rebuilding like our back end system and some of our front end system. So we've got a lot of things that are being built. We've got all the new features being built. It's inevitable that we're going to have bugs. We're going to have them for several more months, probably 3 to 6 more months, where we're going to have, bugs. I mean, we get them every day. Every day there's a new bug. We're rolling out new features almost daily on the site. We're rolling out updates. So almost every single day we're rolling out hundreds of new lines of code. When we do that, we're going to introduce problems. Hopefully before summer, a lot of that should die down. We're getting better at it as well. So we've got a lot better systems in place to prevent that. But we also just have we're a lot more, obviously I'm a lot more vocal online, and we have like the Morph Market members group and things like that. So like, you're going to see a lot more bugs, like via social media than ever before as well. So it's going to look worse than it is because of that. And because we have so many people constantly using the platform and new people, and we're building features. So, but it'll get better. Give it 3 to 6 months and we'll have very, very few bugs in the future.
Right on. All right, Bob or Dave, who wants to go next?
Well, Bob,
You want to go ahead?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna kind of just talk for a second, but a couple things. Last thing, the auction thing, and I made this suggestion to somebody else. Maybe if the seller can have a feature on there where they can automatically agree to donate money to USARC, maybe 5% of their total sale at the auction. Something like that. Turn a positive on something that maybe people look as a negative. Some people think that selling animals is dirty this way. Maybe giving back a little bit will help. Second thing, I want to thank you guys for buying my poopy. I put a lot of time into that. I mean, Darien, I believe you bought that poopy, right? Did you not buy my poopy at the auction?
I did, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Darien bought it, and it ended up at my house somewhere.
Oh, okay, great. Because my follow-up question is, where's my poopy? But well, I'm glad you got it over there, man. Thank you guys again. That meant a lot to me. That I put a lot of work into that. So thank you. Darien, follow-up question. Shit, man. I don't even know if I have one. You gonna maybe create a OnlyFans feature where we can barter in reptiles?
Oh God.
Are you telling me that I need a OnlyFans account? Is that what you want?
Well, you wouldn't be the first guy in the hobby. I don't want to break it to you, but I mean, it depends. Hey, man, do you barter in ball pythons? Can I maybe send you some ball pythons?
Yeah, we'll probably. I think we'll create a personal section on Morph Market at some point. We'll have the Morph Market, Morph Match is what we'll call it.
Is that really a wrap-up question?
Good.
Yeah.
Where
You missed the first 5 minutes. But...
No, I heard everything you said. That was more of a statement, and
I just wanted to thank him. I never got to thank him for that gesture, and I made the other comment. I don't know. Question. Can we come back to me, man? I think that's
good. The fact that you don't have anything shows that we talked about a lot in this 2 hours. So that's a good thing. I'm glad. Normally it's like, hey, yeah, buddy, we have to go another 2 hours. But it looks like we covered a lot. So
just to keep him happy, we'll launch Morph Match as our dating service, and then we'll launch Morph Meetups, and we can launch a service where everybody can like schedule meetups for Reptile and all that, and maybe even go in herping and shit. How about that? I was legit thinking of starting a dating segment on this podcast, like something, just because there's a lot of lonely motherfuckers out there. And
Meat market.
Meat market. Bro, dude, trademark that now. Holy shit, that's crazy.
So, Darien, I don't want to ask too much because you're already giving so much, but what are the chances for your little dating site? Me and Chad Halker could maybe be your cover art. You know, maybe a little picture of us. I don't know.
Don't be
You know,
weird.
give it a shot. See if that helps. You know, maybe bring in some meat to the party. You know what I'm talking about?
We want something appealing.
Well, Josh and Bob can come too, motherfucker.
Bob, Bob's swole. I think we could do it with Bob. But you guys, I don't know, man. I think it's kind of weird.
Well, Dad Bod's in right now. Chad has 2 kids.
We'll talk
That's
about
true.
it. I think Bob and Matt Bowers would be ideal, to be honest.
Well, I guess I'd
all
be
right,
happy.
let's go to Bob's wrap-up question. Go ahead, Bob. What do you got for him?
All right, who's your top 3 ball python breeders?
Top 3?
Dude. Yeah, let's hear it.
You mean I have to actually choose?
Yeah, no, don't choose. It'll hurt my feelings. All right, so let's see. What MJ usually do like those firing questions. All right, if you had a choice right now between Bob Clark and Samson Pruitt, who you boxing?
I'd go with Samson just so I could beat the shit out of him.
Yes,
You can probably take Samson. I don't think you can take Bob Clark.
Samson.
Yeah.
Samson's winding with if he stands up, you got him. You're good.
I don't know. I mean, if I hit him though, you know, it might just like slide by. You know, he's a little greasy. So
Yeah,
I
and
think you can take Bob Clark, dude. Bob looks like he's in good shape.
I would have fucked with Bob, bro. Bob, he chugs IPAs like it's nothing. He's ready, dude. Don't.
He looks like he's always ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah. And I really think you and Bob should just talk it out first and foremost.
I mean, I tried at Arlington. That didn't work out very well.
Oh man.
I was nice, you know. I was real kind, you know.
Do you have another question, or was that your wrap up? Was that your?
That's
last
my wrap up question. I saw him last week.
Darien, or do you want to go one more time, Dave, or do you want to end it with in your style, of course?
I feel like whatever just happened is good enough for me. How about that?
I think it's so too, and I think we still have a lot more in store after 2024 rolls around because we're gonna have you back here, buddy. That's for sure, Darien. But I would also say, Darien, we just had shy of 200 people tapped in tonight. You had a lot of people in here who are obviously rooting for you. They want to see Morph Market do good. So what do you want to say to all the love and support that you've had out there, and even the ones who didn't support you at first, but then now do? What do you have to say to everyone out there?
I appreciate everybody who does support Morph Market. I mean, I think we've got an awesome platform that, you know, everybody should be supporting, but anybody who does, definitely appreciate it. And we've got a lot of really cool things, you know, over the next 6 months. I think that we're going to kind of surprise people a little bit. So just stick with it. It'll work out.
I think you surprised people this year for sure, especially the doubters, you know, the ones who could have sworn that you were either PETA or something that wasn't going to keep you relevant. And boy, were they wrong. But I love where you're taking Morph Market so far. It's exciting. But I hope it doesn't change your energy because, you know, you did kind of get dark there for a second about what your feelings are for the future in Morph Market. But I hope that feeling that you have doesn't keep your excitement and energy into putting stuff into Morph Market. I hope you stay excited and I hope you still stay in the game because it's obviously showing what you know, bro. Like your smarts is kind of playing out with what's being launched out with Morph Market. So I'm impressed and I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. But thank you so much, guys. Please follow Morph Market on Instagram. Become a Morph Market member, especially if you're selling snakes. And could we maybe see you on the West Coast? Are you going to have a table on the Reptile Super Shows, or what's going on with you being like more everywhere across the United States?
I'm going to try to make it. I'm going to make it to at least 1 or 2 of the Super Shows this year. Right. I'm going to try to get to the big one, the big Pet Expo one with all the you know, plants and fish and all that shit.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Yeah. Well, let me know how I can help you, man. But guys, please do me a favor. Give it up from Darien and Morph Market. It's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Later, guys.
Later, man. Have a good one. Wow. Good episode. Appreciate you guys. And there goes Bob. Where did Bob go? Bob's out. All right. Well, Bob's a rookie. Well, Dave, now it's just you and I. And I guess you and I could talk about the final thoughts of tonight's episode with Darien. How do you feel overall?
I feel pretty good. You know, I should have made a list. There was other things I really wanted to talk about. You know, sometimes, I kept on mentioning, like, you know, he ran that Black Friday sale. I kind of enjoyed it. You know, if he didn't do that, I would have never used the sales section. I benefited from that sale. A lot of the other things he's doing right now, I think we all benefit from once we get used to using them. Some things are a little different, but I don't know, man. I'm kind of looking at this in a positive way right now. The website's killing it. It's the best thing we have. Until there's something better, I'm happy. And I just don't think anything better is going to come along right now.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of couldn't agree with you more. And this was kind of already the thought beginning of this year, while people were so hyped up about Morph Market, you know, no one's going to fuck with Morph Market no more after this year and all sorts of stuff. I mean, our hands are kind of all tied here. You know what I mean? But also, like, you know, I see progression in Morph Market at the same time. So if you're able to just focus on the business at hand, right? The business is selling snakes and not caring about what Darien's posts are or what he cares or whatever, like let him be him and worry about your own business, you know, because Darien's post doesn't pay your bills. It's not going to ensure a snake being sold. It's that guy being himself and not caring. But
yeah, no, again, man, glass half full. Morph Market's been an amazing site. You know, John built a great site, and I just don't think we're going in the wrong direction right now. I think things are good. I think a lot of the changes on the website we're all going to benefit from. As for the shit talk on Facebook, man, I mean, I don't know. Keeps us talking about it. I mean, I kind of enjoy some of them. We all get a little worked up over nothing sometimes. There's some truth there. Yeah. So I'm both ways, man. I'm pro Morph Market right now, and I hope he still shit talks a little bit, just so I can make memes behind the scenes.
I think no matter how much he's going to be like, all right, I'm going to be doing less in 2024, he's still going to be Darien. Believe it or not. He's going to pop in. He's going to pop in, let motherfuckers know, surprise, motherfucker, I'm still here. But that's who he is. And, you know, I just respect the guy because at the end of the day, he's still putting in work. He's still fucking working. He just, you know, let him be him. But I'm asking you, you know, since it's the last podcast of the year, and I do appreciate you being such a part of so many shows this year with me. I really admire and appreciate you as a human, Dave. I just want to say thank you so much. But what's your game plan going into next year, 2024? Anything you want to share? Like, what's your mindset? Anything that you want to share with anyone who's curious?
Can I mention my project and then talk about us a little bit?
Yeah, please do. Please take the
Well, so, you know, me and MJ have talked a lot about this over the last year, that eventually I was going to go out and mess around with my own thing, whatever the fuck that is. Yeah. So, you know, kind of in mind of, because again, I really want to keep working with you. And I told you that when I went out thinking about doing this, the name, buddy, and it's so fucking cheesy. All for One Reptile Podcast, man. I want to work with you. I mean, I really enjoy coming out and doing these. You know, I always said, like, you got me in the game, bud. You know, you guys invited me out, got me talking. You made me love it, and I enjoyed the space. So, like, you know, thank you for that again. I always tell you that when we talk about it. But, you know, I think it's going to be a slow start for me even going on and doing my own thing. It's a lot of work, and you know it, man, and I got to make time for it, so it's going to be hard. But I'm going to try to dabble, and please keep calling, man. I want to keep on coming on when you need me.
Oh, 100%, man. I mean, I could always need you, you know what I'm saying? But I think you definitely could use your own thing because people value just hearing you talk, Dave. And but also it's a lot of the experience that people are trying to listen to. So, and I always told you, like, what you do for me on every episode is speak on experience that I don't have, you know, like I'm in a sense, compared to you, still wet behind the ears when it comes to learning about vending and even certain, you know, motions and movements in the market. You know, as much as I talk about people not understanding the dips and ups, I mean, I'm still learning too about it. Like, even though I'm in an okay place, like, yeah, there was things I had to adjust with ball pythons being differently priced and all that. But, you know, I figure things out. And I think you have to always be ready to figure things out, no matter how easy or good or hard it comes to you. You know what I'm saying? But you've seen a lot of the ups and downs. And that's why I love having you be a part of this. And let me know how I can help you, Dave. Obviously, I'm you know, I like you said, before you started doing podcasts with me on this show, I already knew and I wanted to encourage you to have your own thing and have your own show going. And I would love to help you any way I can. And I know a lot of other people would support you as well. So,
yeah. Like I said, I appreciate it again, man. Like I said, we'll be working together because I enjoy coming out, and, you know, you talk about what I bring to the table. I think the conversations are better from the conversations we bring to the table. Well, you talk about what I talk about, sometimes the same thing, sometimes completely different. Makes for a better conversation, man. I always enjoy them.
And I really wish I had your energy as far as like bringing a certain characteristic or style. Like, that fucking croc hat was amazing.
Cockhead. Baller, buddy. Look at the size of this cocksucker. Holy fuck, man. I think it's like 3.5 feet of hat. I was like, I got to use all the material. Like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Dave, you're always a hit on the show. What do you have to say to the 200 plus people who tapped into tonight's show and was really happy to see you here?
Well, I think that's the most we've ever had tuned in for an episode I've been on here. So thanks, guys. And honestly, let's kick off the new year. I'm going to give with you some ideas I got. And yeah, we'll be back soon. Give it a couple weeks.
Don't ever discredit your experiences here, because we had 300 plus people during the DG show, just so you know.
Did we?
Yeah, we had, that was a big show. Yeah, the DG people, we had over 300 people. So
I didn't know. Well, hey, second best, guys. Second best.
Hey, Dave, please do me a favor. Have a happy new year. I'm sure I'll talk to you before then, but I love you, buddy. Have a happy new year. 2024, nothing but big and great things for the both of us. So thank you so much. Everyone, please give it up for my good friend, David Levinson, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night, buddy. Thanks,
guys. Love you, bud.
Peace
Later,
out.
guys.
Wow, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. 2023 in the books. Guess how many podcasts I did this year? 141. Damn. 141 podcasts is in the fucking book. And I just want to say again, thank you to anyone who spent their time and energy listening to my episodes and the hard work that I put into this, because it's really all about the growth and the future of the hobby. And we gotta hear from the people doing it right. All I'm trying to do is bring relevant, good examples to this channel. And so I work really hard on bringing specific guests to this channel, from the new breeder on the block, all up in the tree, and the main Trap Talk episodes I do on Thursday. So, man, so happy. I'm going to go celebrate by smoking and maybe getting a burrito. We'll find out. Either way, again, if this is your first time hanging out with us and you enjoyed tonight's episode, or if you've been listening to this episode, listening to this podcast, and you've not yet hit the subscribe button, please, it's never too late to hit the subscribe button. Just shy of my goal, man. It's not too late, but help me, please. I have a goal in mind when it comes to my subscribers. I've been building an organic audience. So thank you so much. All right, guys, all the love and support means it's priceless to me, man. Thank you so much. Remember, if you're looking for exclusive content, if you want to get more behind the scenes, if you want to tap in with some of the best keepers in the reptile industry, people who are really relevant, people making the best moves, man, business moves within the hobby, well, then look no further than joining the Trap Talk Patreon family. Click that very top link you see in the description below. Once you join the Trap Talk Patreon family, you get a link to the Discord, which taps you with over 185 trappers. We have a Patreon Instagram group chat that's cracking. Just such a great way to connect yourself with some of the best people. Like I'm saying, man, it's not what you know, it's who you know. A lot of people want to ask, MJ, how the fuck you get where you're at so quickly? It's because it's all about who you know. And that's my last tip for you in 2023. All right, step your fucking network game up. I'm telling you right now, it's not what you know, it's who you know. All right. Have a good night, guys. I'll catch you guys here next year. That's right. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your new year. Happy fucking new year, man. 2024 is yours. It's your time. You're going to fucking get it. So remember, wake up. Tell yourself, my year is now coming. Let's fucking go. I'll see you guys at the top. Have a good night. And have a safe new year. And I'm out. Cheers.